What's up everybody, Rob here from the Basement Bike Shop, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install dual cables on a gyro. Now if you still haven't installed your gyro or you need help with that, you can check out my video on gyro installation. It'll be on the screen now. Now the first thing we're going to need is a dual cable frame stay. I'm going to use the London Mod. There are other models that are very similar to it. Some frames have stays you can order that allow you to screw it right to the frame for dual cables. Wethepeople actually made one that fits my frame, but I couldn't get a hold of one, so we're going to use the London Mod. And then we'll need 2 cable stops for in the brake. Odyssey NARPs work, otherwise they do make cable stops that go into your brakes. Then we'll need 2 cables that have the ends for a gyro. A couple different companies make cables like this or cable kits like this. You can also use some Odyssey slick cables that have the gyro NARP on one end and then the brake cable NARP on the other, so they can be used for either, and you'll need 2 of them. And then for an upper lever and cable, we'll use the Odyssey Modulever, and that comes with a cable, as you can see, that has 2 cables coming right out of the lever. You'll use the ferrule insert for the 2 cables. Now in a previous video we bent this lever. If you want to see how we did that, you can check out the video. I'll put a link on the screen now. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all the hardware we don't need. We'll start with the upper cable and lever. We'll loosen the jamb nuts. And then turn the barrel adjusters all the way in, lifting up on the cable a little bit to take friction off of the barrel adjuster. Then disconnect the cable from your gyro or detangler by just feeding the cable out the side. You can lift up on the gyro or detangler a little bit to give you some relief on the cable. Next, we're going to loosen up the barrel adjuster on the top of the gyro splitter for the upper cable and the one that's on the lever. The one on the lever, we want to line up all of the slots in the jamb nut and the barrel adjuster so we can pull out the cable. Then we'll go back to the barrel adjusters on the upper gyro plate and loosen them up all the way and pull the cables out. And then we'll remove the brake lever. Then we'll remove the bottom cable. I usually don't reuse lower cables, so I'm just going to cut this one. I remove the straddle cable first by squeezing the brake pads together and unhooking it out of one side and then the other. Since we're going dual cables all the way back, we won't need the straddle cable or the straddle cable splitter. To remove the rest of the cable, I'm going to start up by the gyro. I'm going to pull the gyro down to expose the cable and then unhook it from the gyro. Once I got that done, pull up on the cable, and loosen the adjuster barrel. And do the same to the other side. After that, we look at our frame mounted cable stays. Now, depending on the length of cable housing we want, we can put our London mod in either of these two positions. Whether we want longer cable housings or shorter cable housings, we can do either or. I'll show you how to do the one with the longer cable housing, but it's the same either way. So the next thing we need to do is take the frame mount we want to use and move it to the position that we want, which is moving the front one to the back one and then removing the back one completely. Now we're ready to start mounting some hardware. We'll start with our new lever, Odyssey Modulever, dual cable ready. You can also run a single cable out of this lever. Now we bent the lever so that we can run it on the bend, and I'm going to cut my bars down a little bit after. Now when you tighten down a brake lever, especially one with a hinge, always remember you're not going to tighten it down as much as you do other parts on your bike. You want to tighten it just until it doesn't move anymore with your hands, and then stop there. I've snapped many hinges off of brake levers over tightening them. After the lever is installed, we're going to prep our upper cable by putting our upper gyro plate adjustable barrels on. And how you're going to do that is just take the jamb nut completely off the barrel and then put the barrel on the cable and then put the jamb nut back on. Once you have both of those done, it's time to install our cable and our lever. You're going to start with just the bare cable without the insert in the lever barrel. Pull the lever all the way in. Feed in the cable. And then pull it all back out. Then you're going to take your barrel sleeve, and for the two cables, and insert it. Then take the other two ends. The shorter one will go in the side closest to the lever, and the longer cable will go in the side furthest away from the lever. You screw the barrels in about halfway, and then hook the cable ends into the gyro. And then onto the lower cable. Now if you're using the Odyssey cable or a cable that has both ends on it, then you need to cut off the right one, which is the big one, and leave the one with the gyro end on. Then we're going to thread in our barrels into the bottom gyro tabs on the frame. Then we're going to measure and cut the housing to the exact size we want. Make sure you pull the cable out of the housing before you measure and cut it. Hold it exactly where you want the cable to run on the frame, and mark it with my finger, and then I pull it away and I cut it. And then I cut the other cable to the exact same length and lay those off to the side with extra ferrules. After that's done, I'm going to run my inner cable up through the barrel on the frame and then hook it into the bottom of the gyro. Then I'm going to feed the housing on. And then a ferrule. And then feed it through the London Mod. And then do the same for the other side. And I'm going to put a frame strap on right here. So I'll put that on now just to see what it looks like. Next I'm going to hook the cables to the brakes. And it'll go one to each arm using my Odyssey NARPs. So with the barrels on my London Mod turned all the way in, I'm going to measure with the cable pulled tight, the brake pad pushed all the way against the rim, how much I need just to squeeze it in and out of the brake arm. And then I'm going to tighten down the NARP on the cable in that exact spot. And then I'm going to install it into the brake arm. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Next, we're going to adjust our gyro. Now we're going to start by adjusting the upper plate and the brake lever so that there's a little gap right on the bottom of the gyro between the tabs on the frame and the gyro itself. So we're going to take the gyro up a little bit and then turn the barrel on the lever out also, just to make sure that it's perfect. After you got the gyro up off the bottom and level, then we're going to tighten down our jamb nuts so it won't move. And then we'll move on to the bottom. Then we're going to go back to the London Mod and turn those out evenly until our brake pull is exactly where we want it. And that wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing, you can go ahead and subscribe and I'll keep these videos coming. If you don't want to miss my next video, you can turn on those alerts and you'll be notified when it comes out. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, you can go ahead and leave me a message or you can email me. Thanks.